Hello everybody, my name is Wilder, and Harvest Moon Winds of Anthos is the next installment in Natsume's Harvest Moon series. And although it was announced a little bit ago, we finally got our first full look at the game thanks to a new trailer that was dropped, and it actually looks pretty alright? I mean, okay, before I get ahead of myself, let's take a look at everything together, including some information we have about the game, and what it's going to include as far as main mechanics go. So, the first thing I noticed right off the bat is that this game is definitely a noticeable step up from One World when it comes to how it looks and its graphics. Now, it's nothing absolutely crazy, but it's definitely looking much better than what we've seen from these new Harvest Moon games in the past. I mean, just taking some of these screenshots and comparing them to One World, and it's immediately noticeable. Don't get me wrong though, there are definitely some places in this trailer where I'm reminded of One World, and I am not impressed at all. But what I am impressed with is that there are some shots where I'm actually liking the art style and direction. And speaking of art direction, I think that with this game, Natsume is finally kind of finding their footing a bit with their look for Harvest Moon, and is finding a world and other assets that actually match and make it feel less like a mobile game and more like an actual art direction and choice on its own. Yeah, there are still issues with what I'm seeing here and there, and it still overall looks not amazing, but I'm not really that upset with how it looks as a whole, and that's a plus to me. Listen, I'll take what I can get with these Harvest Moon games these days, okay? Like, it's a plus that I'm just not upset about how it looks. Anyway, there are a few things and mechanics you can see returning from One World in this trailer, but there's more that's returning that isn't here. But I do have a list here, so let's go over everything one by one. First up is the Expando Farm. This mechanic in One World would let you pack up your farm and move it to another location, so that you could farm in different biomes and choose where you wanted to live, and change that choice on a dime. I actually liked this mechanic overall in One World, and looking back on it now, I think it was one of the better mechanics they introduced. It was a nice idea, it just didn't seem necessary with how empty the world was. It just felt like they could have cut out all the walking around the lonely world and not have to move the farm around so much. So I hope that in Winds of Anthos there's more of a reason to actually move your farm aside from, oh, I don't want to walk back there. But of course, because you can move the farm around, that means there's once again going to be a world to explore with different areas and biomes to visit, which we did get a look at in this trailer. We get to see a bit of a deserty kind of island area. You can see the camels hanging out over there. But if you look at the texture of the sand, it definitely looks better than the sand texture in One World. Nothing amazing, but at least there's shading now, and it doesn't look like someone just downloaded a half-finished free sand texture off the internet and just put it in their game. I have to admit, I like the look of the water in this area as well. It looks nice, and I like the idea of the town being on docks and islands. I want to see more of this area, I kinda like it. We also got to look at this more foresty area, which either looks like that all year round, or maybe it's autumn? But based on the fact that you can move your farm and there are different biomes to visit, I'm guessing that this is what it looks like all year round. Which I'm personally fine with, because I actually like the look of it, and all the autumn colors as well. Also, can I just mention that the fact that the camera is actually looking out on the world and not up above your character already gives this game so much more life than it would have if they had stuck with One World's camera. Like, seriously. But the third biome area we got to see were these snowy mountains, which is honestly my least favorite of the three areas that we have to see so far. At least there's also some shading to the snow here as well, unlike in One World. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about that one. But man, that camera angle really is helping this game a lot though, even in this area. Now overall, these areas aren't an earth-shattering improvement over the previous game, but it's definitely a noticeable one, and I'm glad we're continuously moving forwards and not backwards here. But yeah, because there are going to be a lot of areas to explore in this world, it means that, unfortunately, finding hidden harvest wisps to get seeds is coming back. Yay, it's been confirmed. I am not happy about this. I really didn't like this mechanic in One World, and it was one of my least favorite things in the entire game. I know that the seeds appear in the shop after you find them from the wisps in One World, but that just makes it feel like it's a waste of time overall, and I just wish that the regular seeds were in the shops already, and there were hybrids or special seeds to discover in a more engaging way, rather than putting all of them behind these hidden wisps. I'm definitely not happy about this one coming back, but hey, maybe they'll make it better in this game somehow. Maybe I'm hoping too much for that one. But anyway, moving on to the animals. Something that's coming back that I'm actually happy about is all the interesting and exotic animals. You see in the trailer that you can have reindeer, and apparently also there will be wolves and Bengal tigers, which I'm super excited for. I love the interesting and exotic animals that you can have in the recent Harvest Moon games, and I'm glad to see them returning here. And speaking of the reindeer, the scene where you see the reindeer also shows the main character taking a selfie next to it, which means that there's going to be a photo mode in this game, which is nice. You know, it feels like the inclusion of a photo mode has made its way into so many games these days that not having it would be kinda weird, so at least there's that. But mining was mentioned as well, and I just hope that it's not so OP in this game that it makes farming basically not worth it like in a few past Natsume games. I'm just hoping it's a lot more balanced here. But let's talk about characters for a second. There are going to be 5 male marriage candidates and 5 female marriage candidates. Now, I liked the marriage candidates in One World quite a bit. I thought they were all diverse and interesting enough in their own ways, so I'm looking forward to meeting all the marriage candidates this time around. But there are only 10 in this game, where in One World there were 12, 6 and 6, so I'm wondering if there are going to be any secret marriage candidates this time around. Or if they're just having fewer marriage candidates, maybe it's to put more time and effort into each one of them. I don't know, but I'm still excited to see them. And of course there will also be festivals, can't have a farming sim without festivals. There are going to be a variety of both festivals and contests, it says, which is exciting. It means we'll get to partake in certain festivals, and we'll get to actually compete, which is always fun. Now in the trailer you can see horse racing, which I assume is part of the contests and festivals they mention. It looks pretty cool. I'm interested in seeing other contests, and seeing if they come up with anything crazy or like super unique, because when it comes to contests, there's definitely a lot you can do there. Overall, I think Harvest Moon Winds of Anthos, it looks interesting enough to actually have my attention for right now, which is completely crazy to me. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this one, and I'll look into maybe picking it up as well, because for the most part, I do like what I see. Do I think it's going to be good? I have no idea right now, I actually don't. And I know better than to trust this right now, but I won't lie, it definitely caught my attention a bit. Although, I won't really have very long to keep my eye on this game because it's actually releasing soon. Harvest Moon Winds of Anthos is releasing for all consoles and PC on September 26th of this year, 2023. In true Natsume fashion, their game is releasing super close to its announcement date. I'm just wondering how much more of the game we'll be seeing before it actually releases. You know, will we get a look at all the marriage candidates, more mechanics and gameplay? I hope so, because like I said, I'll definitely be keeping my eye on this one, for better or for worse. After One World, it's kind of hard to trust this game, just based on what I see here, but I have to admit, what I see here is better than what we saw for the previous games, so right now I'm just kinda confused and waiting for more information. I will say it is actually cool that they kept the different biomes and areas you can go to, and keeping moving the farm. That is actually a really good decision. I feel like One World had a lot of potential that it just did not tap into at all, and this game seems to be taking the potential it had and kind of implementing some of it. It definitely makes me more optimistic than I have been about the Harvest Moon series since Natsume took over, but again, I can't trust this. I know better than to trust what I'm seeing here. It's just gonna have to come down to playing it. I am interested in maybe picking it up, but like I said, I'll have to wait and see. But let me know what you think about the new trailer for Winds of Anthos, and let me know what you think about everything we talked about here today. Let me know what you hope this game brings back from One World, and let me know what you hope they definitely do not bring back from One World, because that's gonna be it from me today. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and as always, I will see you in the next one.